Welcome back. I'm Jack Fleming. Today I am going to answer a viewer's question about cleaners for sign painting and pinstriping enamels. Let's get to it. All right, so the question that was asked, paraphrasing it here, is what to do with your dirty solvents whenever it's time to get rid of them and get new ones. I think the best way to discuss that is to first kind of show you guys what I have here and explain how I use it, why I use it, and then we'll get to what to do with the old stuff, and I'll show you what I do as far as getting new stuff. I'm not going to talk to you about cleaning brushes. I think there's some great videos out there for cleaning brushes. I know Jen Thomas has a wonderful video for cleaning brushes. Freddie via Pinstriping, has really good video on cleaning brushes as well. So I'm not going to focus on the brush. We're going to focus on the cleaners. So let's get to that. My cleaners are pretty dirty. It's a good time for this video. This first jar is what I call my dirty wash. This middle jar is brush cleaner, or my second wash. And then this last jar is what I'd like to call my clean wash. At the moment, it's not very clean. The first thing that I do whenever I clean brushes, obviously I clean over here. If I get some paint out of my brush first, I'm cleaning here. And over time, that one builds up the most with being really dirty. I don't know if you can see down there, there's a lot of paint sediment down in there. If you let it sit, this has sat since Saturday, all of that paint settles to the bottom. And then it leaves thinner on top. Or mineral spirits. I'm using mineral spirits here. One-shot brush cleaner here. Mineral spirits again. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to take the mineral spirits from my clean jar, which have also settled a bunch, and my dirty jar, and I'm going to mix them together, but I'm going to pour them from the dirty jar into my clean jar. And now I have a new dirty jar, or first wash. My previous dirty jar now has paint sludge in the bottom of it. I used to save this whenever I do oil painting a lot. This is a little bit different because it's the enamels, but I would use that actually on my canvases to get rid of the white before I started. I'd use my old paint sludge. But in this case, I don't use this for anything. So what I do is I take this jar and I set it somewhere where it's away from flammables or anything else, and I just let it dry out. And whenever it's completely dried out, that's when I dispose of it. So this one's gone. It's going to sit and dry for a while. And let me show you one that's been drying for a while already. Alright, so here's one older one that's not quite as dirty as the one that we have. You can see that as it's dried, the stuff in there's kind of shrunk up. When that gets a little bit more dry, I'll throw it completely away. You can see this one's a little dirtier than that one is. This one was used for a specific project. So those go away. So that brings us back to what we have here. I think I'm probably going to keep this brush cleaner around for a little while longer. So I'm not going to fill up a new jar with that today. But, wrong lid. I just use old jelly jars and stuff from the house. Got a new one here. I say jelly jars. Sometimes they're olives. Sometimes they're pickles. Sometimes they're who knows what. But these are what I use for my cleaners. So again, this is my first wash now, my second, and this will be my new one. And let's get some spirits to fill that up with. Oh, all right. Before I fill up that new jar, which I have right here, let's talk about solvents just a little bit, how I use them. For my cleaners, again, I am using mineral spirits. So here's some odorless mineral spirits. I just get it from the local hardware store. I use this to clean my brushes. I do not use this to reduce my paint. I do not use it to clean surfaces with. I don't like the way that surfaces feel after they've been wiped with it. It seems like there's a layer. To me, I'm not an expert on this. Again, this is what I do and what's working for me. If I'm ever using urethanes to clean my brushes, I then use lacquer thinner. I've got two different kinds here. One comes from the hardware store. This one I got from local automotive paint supplier. Again, that'll clean paints like the House of Color paints. I believe Hot Hues. I haven't used those. I want to, but that's another urethane. It cleans the Tamco paints out. So I'll use that instead of spirits. Couple of other things real quick. I mentioned that I do not reduce my paint with mineral spirits. I reduce my paint with reducers. I try to match the brand to whatever paint I'm using. If I'm using one-shot paints, I try to reduce with their reducer. If I'm using alpha, I try to reduce with theirs. That's kind of the two main enamels that I use. I've also got some flow enhancer. I have some alpha enamel flow enhancer as well, or chroma flow for one shot. And when I'm done with my brushes, recently I've been using this brush oil. I also really like the Vondego brush oil. It smells really good. Previous to that, I used to use Neat's Foot oil. I honestly don't have a preference over any of these. The three of those have always worked really well for me. I guess the only real plus that I could say that I've found for any of them, again, is the Vondego stuff smells really good. But let's go ahead and pour some new spirits. Okay, it probably seems like common sense, but when you do this, make sure that you are in a well-ventilated area. I have here in my studio window right next to the work table that I'm at. I've got it open. I've got the giant door next to me open. I've got a fan going, blowing all the fumes and stuff out of here. I've actually kind of turned it off right now for while I'm doing the video, so it's quieter. But good ventilation. New spirits. I actually don't fill my clean spirits up as much as I do my dirty ones. Because a lot of times whenever I'm working, I'll take my brush if I need to do something real fast, and I'll put a clothespin on it and hang it in here. So that one needs to be high enough for the spirits to get to it. I try not to leave that sitting in there for too gratefully long. But when I clean that out and I go to cleaning this one, I like to give it a really good washing through there. So I leave it kind of low so that it's not splattering all over the place. That pretty much wraps it up. I'm going to go ahead and close up this new jar. Put these in my toolbox. I like to make sure that they're closed really well. My boxes that I have for shows have wheels on them. If I tilt them and these aren't closed real well, then it spills out in the bottom of my boxes, which isn't good. That's about all I can think of for that. I do really appreciate all the comments that I get from people on videos. I hope they're helpful for people, or sometimes just entertaining. Not necessarily trying to make how-to videos on stuff, but I do like sharing with you guys what I do, what I'm working on, how I do it. Again, I know other people do other things other ways, and probably better ways. There's people out there that have been doing this a whole lot longer than me. But if you guys have questions, things you want to see videos on, let me know. Try to share information as much as I can. Thanks. Bye.